Greetings, my name's Harry Hayden. I'm the owner of Blades of Glory. I started the company back in 1994. We started our fighting back in 1995. By 1998 is when we started doing armored combat, and that's when we started our MACE fighting system. Thank you very much for coming to our MACE page, which stands for Medieval Armored Combat Entertainment. MACE is a point scoring system, which means you have to strike your opponent with the edge of the weapon, basically a solid strike with the edge of your weapon, somewhere against their head, torso, arm above the elbow, or leg above the knee. There's no thrusting and grappling. We have 3 judges that score each fight. It is also a time fight. So unlike a lot of HEMA fights or even martial arts fights that stop after a point is registered, it isn't like that. It's similar to boxing, where the time fights could be a minute or 2 minutes, and all points within that time frame are counted. We've always used mixed weapons as well, right from the start. And so whatever weapon style or what weapon you decide to use, your opponent does not have to choose the same weapon. The different weapons and styles we use are sword and heater shield, longsword, round shield, either strapped or center boss. We also use a single-handed axe, sword and buckler, sword and dagger, single sword, 2 weapons, flail, and greatsword. With a greatsword, basically both fighters have to be wearing plate armor. Our armor requirements are a bit different from other sword fighting clubs, as we are not specific to a certain time period. There are many groups that insist that the sword fighters have armor representative of the 14th century. We are not like that. We are not historical, but we do have historical suits of armor, such as armor representing 1066, 12th century, 14th century, 15th century, and 16th century. Some of the safety requirements, such as the Gorget or Gorget, came around the late 14th century, but we make sure all of our fighters have it. We encourage historical representation, but it is not mandatory. If the fighter's armor is not all from the specific time period they are trying to represent, that is okay. Safety is a #1 priority, not the specific time period. Okay, so the fights are a mix of competition and also entertainment at the same time. So some of the shows will be judged, and also in tournaments as well, that the participants are competing to win. At the same time, we fight in front of an audience as well. So in addition to trying to score the points, it has to be entertaining too. So as I said, some of the fights are judged, some of the shows are judged, are looking to win. Where some of the other shows we do in front of audiences, they tend to be more demos to try to, at a fair or something like that, and just kind of showcase what the fighters can do, but the audience decides the match and not any sort of judges whatsoever. So we try to find a balance between competition and entertainment. One more point is that some of our shows that we perform at, our sword fighters get paid. They actually get paid money for sword fighting. New this year, although we have always trained in it, is sword fighting in soft kit. Our soft kit is very similar to HEMA. Soft kit is when the sword fighters wear a medieval helmet or fencing mask, a gambeson, gauntlets, and some form of forearm protection. This year, we started running tournaments for our sword fighters wearing soft kit. Now, where I am now is at our medieval theme park. So I guess in one sense, we're kind of lucky considering that COVID hit and we have our own park. We're in Hastings, Ontario, Canada, and this happens to be one of our gargoyles here. This is our fighting list for shows, if you can see it. We usually get upwards of 250 people. The fighting list is 20 feet by 30 feet. It is specifically designed to be very similar to the warning track on a baseball field. There's gravel in the middle, and there's a 3-foot area of grass that surrounds the gravel. So that way when you're fighting and you step back and you step onto the grass, you know you're very close to the edge of the list.